over the last 4 is really bad as well. So like on paper, Jarvis looks like the better play. I guess I want to know what ownership's going to be like. If it's going to be drastic one way or the other, like maybe it is a time to kind of jump on OBJ as like a little bit of a buy low. Like Cincinnati, like just give me all these guys against Cincinnati, like 32nd best team at defending the deep pass. So if they are going to see some of those types of targets, like those are the type of guys I would be super interested in. And like those are mid-range price basically. Like wide receiver, I feel like a lot of these guys are kind of juiced up. Like Tyreek Hill's over 8K, Michael Thomas over 8K, Devontae Adams 8K. Like all these guys are expensive. Parker 6,900, DJ Moore 7K. Like you can't play all these guys anymore. So it's nice to have a little bit of a mid-range option as well with these Cleveland guys. So I'm with you, man.
All right. So where else you got? I mean, I do have others, but where else are you looking, Joe?
I think that someone that's super interesting this week is Christian Kirk. If we wanted to kind of move a tier down in salary, 5,200. A lot of people played him last week in particular. 5,900 on FanDuel is still a really nice price point for him as well. He's still someone that's top 12 in weighted opportunity over the last 4 games. So I think that everyone that kind of played him last week isn't going to want to go back to that spot. Not a fantastic matchup by any means against Pittsburgh, but they are at home, and I think that the volume's kind of always there for this Arizona team, and I want the guy that's seeing the most valuable target share, and to me, that's still Christian Kirk.
Where are you on that, Chris? Because I'm fading this game from the Arizona side altogether.
Yeah, you and I talked Monday about Kyler, and I just I'm out on the Arizona offense too. I don't love the matchup. I think it's an interesting contrarian play if you want to go Kirk in tournaments. I totally get it. The upside is definitely there. But yeah, what I said to you on Monday is just I know they wouldn't rush and put Kyler out there, their franchise quarterback if he's not 100%, but he just didn't look the same. I know he ran one in, and he didn't look like the same guy against the Rams, and Pittsburgh is no joke. The defense is pretty solid, so I'm kind of out on Kirk again, just a tournament thing. But some other wide receivers in this range. I know I mentioned Boyd, but if Cleveland is going to roll, I mean, Boyd has averaged 10 targets per game with Andy Dalton under center. The offense has looked a lot better with him, so I mean, I don't mind him. I mentioned him last week. He turned out to be an okay play. Zach Pascal, he's probably going to be pretty chalky, but if we're talking about him in cash, I mean, who's there with the Colts? Like, there's just so many injuries in Indy, and 10 targets, 7 catches, over 100 yards last week. He's had some decent games. He's had some games where he's disappeared. He hasn't been there, but without T.Y. Hilton, you go back to week 7, he had a good game, a 100-yard game there as well. He had a 72-yard game against the Raiders in a good spot. So against the Bucs, I mean, I don't mind that play.
I don't mind it. I'm fading him in tournaments because you know how I feel about the wide receivers that can't handle being the number one. The good side of it is that the Bucs don't really have anybody that can handle a number one, let alone a number 2. So for that game, I mean, he's the 5th highest projected ownership at wide receiver, and that's why in tournaments I'll just steer clear and I'll try to find somebody else in that price range just because of that concern. And who happens to be in that price range? I'm going to go back to it, Jamison Crowder. Like, everybody's on Robbie Anderson, deservedly so after last week. Everybody's on Zach Pascal. Everybody's on Michael Thomas and DJ Moore and Devontae Parker. Those are actually your top 5 over at FanShare Sports, by the way. And Jamison Crowder, outside the top 15, that's my pivot play. And Jarvis Landry. He barely squeaks into the top 20, and I'm actually shocked by that.
Where's Odell on that list?
He is 2 spots behind Landry, 1 spot behind Tyreek.
Okay, so not completely forgotten about.
I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 more spots now outside the top. Actually, he's 25th, and you guys didn't bring him up. And I'm going to plug him in there. I don't care that he's big play reliant because guess what? He's getting the volume. He is the number 1. He's going to be in my lineup until his price goes up. James Washington.
Ooh, interesting. I kind of am on the other side of that one. I think just from a price perspective, I prefer Deontay Johnson, but I think that more has to do with kind of where you like to beat Arizona on the field. So I think both guys are totally fine. I honestly don't have a huge take one way or the other, but I think that the other one was kind of my first instinct. So what kind of puts him in terms of Washington over Deontay for you if you just had to have one of them?
Talent.
Okay, fair.
and he goes duck hunting with his boy Hodges every week on this report.
In all seriousness,
a position where that matters.
The usage has been there, and then if you told me 10 targets for Washington, 10 targets for Deontay, like let's say Deontay got the same amount. Let's say they both get 10 targets. The big play / ability period. Those are like, so the big play ability, I kind of did like a Wheel of Fortune where you connect the middle word as the big play ability overall. It's significantly better in James Washington for me, whereas he can turn 10 targets into 7 for 150 and 2. Deontay Johnson probably turns into like 5 for 90 and a touch.
That's fair. I think the one thing that I did like about both of these guys, their yards per out run is very high. Washington at 6K is a tough one to click for me. I think that's kind of why I was just looking to pay down if I was to go to that spot. I have a little bit more interested in this Arizona and Pittsburgh game than it sounds like you guys do. I think that at least the target share should be relatively condensed. We'll talk about Vance McDonald, the tight end, who I think is a little bit overpriced as well, but we'll get there.
The Arizona, they knew that was coming. Both sites planned this out. It was like, yep, we're just going to kind of artificially, anytime somebody's facing Arizona, boom, 20% price increase.
Yeah,
except for Higbee, because they thought Everett was going to play. Yeah.
That's true. All right, so where else are you looking, Chris?
For cash, I don't know, man. Like, other than some of the guys we've mentioned, there's a couple that I could bring up in tournaments a little bit later on.
Well, we'll save them.
Yeah, we'll save them. In cash, there's really nowhere else. I mean, maybe Edelman.
Well, then let me ask you.
Again, in that price, like Parker is 6'9". Maybe I'll just like spend another $200 against KC for Julian Edelman. I mean, in cash, again, like it's just a guy. You have to go all the way back to week 5, where Edelman hadn't had double-digit targets, and he had 9 in that game. So it's just a guy that you just know every single week he's going to get you from 15 to 25 DK